lecture is going to focus on general management of a cow-calf operation. So first and foremost, having a calendar of events is probably the most critical part of managing an operation. And so calendar of events can look very different depending on the operation, or it can actually just be a general practice. So I know ranchers who have all of this in their head, and I hope they share it with whoever's going to take over their ranch when they pass away, because a lot of older ranchers aren't necessarily great at writing this stuff down. And so with your calendar of events, the easiest place to start is with calving. So when do you want to calve? Because that is going to be the point of time where your cow is going to need the most nutritional value as possible. Okay, so she's going to be calving, lactating, and trying to get rebred. So you want to try to time your calving so that you're utilizing the natural resources that are available to contribute to that low break even. And so calving is a good place to start. From there, you can then start to think about when breeding will take place and all of those kind of sub-events that go in with breeding. So when does semen testing need to happen? When do you need to purchase and select your bulls? When do pre-breeding vaccinations need to take place? And then when are you branding or earmarking your calves? And then the other major set of events associated with a commercial operation is going to be weaning. And so this could be pre-weaning vaccinations, preg checking cows at weaning, or processing the cows. So those are the big areas that need to make sure that they go into a calendar of events somewhere. And keep in mind, they may not be just one day. They may be entire seasons. And so in fall and spring calving operations, we see falls that are very busy and springs that are very busy, with minimal busyness taking place in the winter and in the summer. And so as we start thinking through calendar of events, the other thing that needs to take place is when marketing will happen. And so marketing, again, has several aspects to it, and we're going to work through a marketing plan in a couple of weeks. So marketing is not just limited to the calves that you're going to sell after weaning, but also when you market your cull cows, when you market your cull bulls, the calves at weaning, and then how many steers are you going to keep back, and how many heifers are you going to keep back, or are you going to carry them as stockers until they're about a year of age? So these are all things that need to go into that calendar of events. So with creating a calendar of events, you also have to keep in mind the biological cycle of the cow. And so this is just one way to actually write out a calendar of events. And it's the way that I actually like, but everybody in my family is tabular, so they like to look at just the months listed out. And so just keep in mind as we work through these next couple of slides, T is going to refer to the trimester. So the trimester of gestation that the cow is in. So trimester 1 in the cow is going to be day 1 to day 94. And keep in mind that during this time, that cow is still lactating and she is still rebreeding. Okay, so she needs an increased plane of nutrition at this point in time. Trimester 2 of gestation is going to be days 94 to 188. And then this is the least nutritionally critical period of time in the cow. Okay, there is a little bit of fetal growth that's happening, but not a ton. And then trimester number 3 is going to be days 189 to 282 of gestation. And so this is going to be followed by calving. And so both of these time points are going to be really important because that is going to be the most nutrient demanding time of the cow. And so keep in mind that trimester 3 is where we see 70% of fetal growth occur. And so the cow can actually gain 150 pounds in that trimester period. And so this is not only the weight of the calf, but it's also the weight of placental fluids as well. And then after calving is going to be the postpartum interval. And so this is going to be days 282 to days 365. So roughly 83 days if our cows follow our calendar. And so during this time, that cow's going to need increased nutrient supplementation because she is just calved and she's getting ready to go into peak lactation. So the biological cycle of this cow can be really mapped out on a calendar. And so we're going to look at what that looks like here in just a second. But it's important for you to make sure that you understand what the critical feed periods are going to be during the year for your cow herd. When is the cows going to be in T1? When will they be in T2, T3, and the postpartum interval? Because you need to match up those biological cycles of the cow with your feeding program. And so as we transition from the biological cycle of the cow to the chronological cycle, this is where we have to critically think through lots of sources of information. Okay, so in a spring calving operation, day one is going to be when that cow is bred. So that starts trimester 1. And so let's say that she got bred on June 1st. Okay, that means that day 94 would be approximately September 3rd. That would be the end of trimester 1. Day 98 would be December 6th, and that would be the end of trimester 2. Day 282, when she is supposed to calve, would be then about March 10th, and that's the end of trimester 3. And then day 365 would be May 31st, and that would be the end of the postpartum interval or the post-calving period. And so if we think about after that 365 day, on day 482, that would be October 7th, and that's when her calf that was born clear back on day 1 on June 1st would be weaned at 7 months of age. So this calf is roughly associated with this cow for 18 months, either in gestation or at her side. So that's what we are talking about with matching up the animal's biological calendar with the chronological calendar. So this is one way to kind of assess your calendar. And so this is just an Excel spreadsheet, and you guys should be familiar with putting one of these together for any scenario. So I'm just going to step through it column by column. So you can see that on the left-hand side, we have the months of the year, starting with January and going through to December. Calving is going to take place about February 1st to the end of April. And then breeding is going to take place from about May to July. Okay, so we are aiming for a 90-day calving season here. And so this is the part that gets a little bit tricky, is we have to then go through and assess when these cows are going to be in specific trimesters. So for simplicity's sake, we are just going to assume that a trimester, or that estrus cycle is going to be roughly 30 days, so about a month long. It gives us a pretty good idea, but keep in mind you are going to be able to pick up an extra heat cycle within this calendar as well. All right, so if we have cows that got bred on May 1st, that means that that group of cows that were bred between May 1st and May 31st are going to be in trimester 1 during the month of May. They're also going to be in trimester 1 during the month of June and July. Then they're going to move to trimester 2 through October, and then into trimester 3 in November December, and January. Oh, I've got an extra one here. And then they're going to move into that postpartum interval. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to go to calving group number 2 over here. That's why I'm confusing myself. All right, so we've got this group of cows that are going to be in trimester 3 in November and December, as well as January. Then they're going to calve, hopefully about February 1st, and enter the postpartum interval for roughly 90 days. And then they're going to go through the cycle again. But keep in mind that if we have a herd of 100 cows, not all 100 cows are going to get serviced by the bull on May 1st. So we have some cows that are probably not going to get serviced by the bull until June. So trimester 1 doesn't start for them until June. So this is going to be calving group number 2. So, and then it goes through the same length of time. The only thing that shifts is the month that they're actually in these trimesters or the postpartum interval. So these cows in calving group 2 are not going to calve until March. Okay, and then we have a group of cows that are not going to get serviced by the bull until July. And so they're clear in trimester 1 until September, trimester 2 till the end of the year, and not hitting trimester 3 until January. And so it's going to be March before they calve. So the question here is now that we've got this staggered calendar set up, where does supplementation need to take place? So if I am in a ranching situation in California and my cows are going to be transported in the fall to the valley, I'm going to need to make sure that they are supplemented starting with the earliest calving group being in trimester 3, because that's where 70% of fetal growth actually takes place. So I'm going to have to see supplementation start in November, December, January, and February. Hopefully by March, our grasses have come on enough to supply the additional protein, so we don't have to supplement. And so this is a really good way to kind of start to pull all of this information together. So if you're asked to create a calendar of events or a chronological calendar with the biological information for a cow, this is what we're talking about. And you're going to have the opportunity to do that. So on a fall calving schedule, basically the months just switch. So the trimesters stay the same, but the days of the trimesters and the month that the animal is actually doing a specific activity are going to change because we're changing calving seasons. So for example, in a fall calving situation, day 1, so the day that that cow is bred, if that was December 1st, she was bred and conceived, then day 94, the end of trimester 1, would be March 5th. End of trimester 2 would be June 7th. End of trimester 3 would be September 9th. This is where she would calve. Day 365 would be 11:30, so the end of the post-calving period. And her calf wouldn't be weaned until about day 482 or on April 10th of the following year. So again, our months just switch around. So here's something for you guys to work through. Okay, so can you create a calendar for a fall calving herd? Okay, and so you can use this as a model, and you can go through and put in where the trimesters are going to be for the different calving groups. Okay, we're going to assume a 90-day calving season. Okay, and based on the information that was in the previous slide, you guys should be able to go in and fill this out.